Welcome, everyone. So nice to be with you. Oh, goodness, we just had such beautiful music in the tea and overtones. It kind of just put me into a very relaxed place. Sometimes we play some lively music. Of course, on Thursdays, it's impossible. We have coffee, the coffee talk, impossible for me to be calm at all. But I think tea creates a different environment, right, than coffee does. So 2022, we decided just to continue with these meditations. So feel free to invite your friends and family. It's open to the public. Anybody can come. And the reason we're doing this is to create a community of calmness, a community of people that can come together and just have a perspective change or perspective shift, because there's so much going on in the world on pretty much every level. I mean, we have climate change, we have political change, we have social change, we have economic change. Um, just about any which way you look, there's something changing and moving, and not in a kind of a gradual way either. It seems that we're in this period of time where things are changing quite dramatically and quite disruptively. So that's why we're here together, and we're here to recalibrate. So let's just start with a couple of videos from John Roger. You've seen them before, but I always play them because they really get to the essence. It kind of just like, I want us to kind of just switch modes, particularly if we're busy or we've rushed into being here or we've forgotten who we are. And it's like, let's just use John Rogers' words to switch us back into a more interior place to ready us for this meditative experience. So here's John Roger.
The divine presence is exactly that thing that is present everywhere. And I could take you to a radical point of view and tell you that there really is no soul. There really is only this presence that is omnipotent, omnipresent at all times. But we talk about the soul as that individualized energy to give you a sense of well-being, so that you can wave your dilemma away as you rise up in consciousness to find out you are what you have always been, and you are the one you've been looking for. If you're not pleasing yourself by being who you are, I got some sad news for you. That's tough, because that's all there is. If you haven't found that place yet inside of you that is full and brilliant, that's tough, because that's all there is. But when you get there, that's enough, because that's all there is. That's all there is for everybody on all the levels of consciousness. The bright, brilliant radiance of our beingness.
It never fails to bring me into awe and silence, and that's all there is. The bright, brilliant radiance of our beingness. It's like, wow. And that who we are to become, we already are. So let's see if we can settle into that. And we ask for the highest and purest light from the highest and purest source to surround and fill each one of us and the space that we're in for the highest good. I think we can all feel that already begin to shift. Just be sensitive to those inner changes inside of you. It kind of takes a little bit of skill to listen within ourselves. And sometimes we take that listening to mean that we have to listen with our ears. But in a sense, our whole body is an ear. And we can listen with our whole body. We're listening with our skin. There's other ways of hearing other than just our ears. So when we listen within ourselves, what is happening? What are we hearing? Perhaps it's a sense or a feeling. But we start tuning in to ourselves. And you can close your eyes. Usually it's best, because there's nothing mystical about closing our eyes or closing our eyelids more accurately, other than to remove any outer distractions. Our attention is usually drawn to what we see. So closing our eyelids removes that level of distraction for us. But if you keep your eyes open and you're not distracted, then that's totally fine. And begin to settle into yourself and listen to yourself. And we've talked about the spiritual sky, and last week we talked about the spiritual ocean, for want of a better word. The ocean, such a great metaphor for spirituality. As you'll hear from these quotes from the great Indian mystic and teacher Kabir, K-A-B-I-R. He says, I have been thinking of the difference between water and the waves on it. Rising, water's still water. Falling back, it is water. Will you give me a hint how to tell them apart? Because someone has made up the word wave, do I have to distinguish it from water? Beautiful way of telling us how we separate ourselves through words and definitions and identifications. And Kabir, in another quote, says, all know that the drop merges into the ocean, but few know that the ocean merges into the drop. Just see what this simple poem or line, Kabir wrote in poems, I think, and in songs. In India, they still sing his songs, his poems, his works, spiritual works. But just see if you can penetrate the profundity of this quote here. All know that the drop merges into the ocean, but few know that the ocean merges into the drop. So if we can just be still and, in a sense, allow this ocean to merge into the drop that we are. In other words, we don't have to strive. What can we do to receive this fullness, to merge with it? And Kabir gives us quite a bit of encouragement in another quote where he said, wherever you are is the entry point. Wherever you are is the entry point. Doesn't matter how you're feeling right now. Doesn't matter what you think of yourself or don't think of yourself, or what you've achieved or haven't achieved. Right now, this moment, this place, this time, that's where we enter the divine. That's where we can allow the ocean to merge with the drop. Just allow yourself to tune into the sacredness in and around you. Here's a quote from John Roger. He says that even though the things we do in this physical world may continually misrepresent who we are, let's never forget for even 1 second that the divine spark that is God resides within each one of us. And after all has been said and done, you'll find that you've been walking with your own beloved for many, many eons. And one of your great realizations will be that at all times, everything was absolutely perfect within you. What an extraordinary thought, that at all times everything is absolutely perfect within us. Can you open to receive the ocean? Can you merge? This is a quote from in the category of unknown. You are beginning to understand, aren't you, that the whole world is inside you, in your perspectives and in your heart. And to be able to find peace, you must be at peace with yourself first. That to be able to find peace, you must be at peace with yourself first. And to truly enjoy life, you must enjoy who you are. And once you learn how to master this, you will be protected from everything that makes you feel like you cannot go on. That with this gift of recognizing yourself, even when you are alone, you will never be lonely. The Indian mystic, more modern one, Nisargadatta Maharaj, he said, a quiet mind is all you need. All else will happen rightly once your mind is quiet. In the light of calm and steady self-awareness, inner energies wake up and work miracles without effort on your part. Don't you just love that possibility, that potential? A quiet mind is all you need, he says. And the Chinese Taoists would agree. One of the great principles of health in Taoist medicine is a quiet mind. And that's what we're entering into in this meditation. And the quotes and the silence and the music all bring us out of our heads into the space within us and around us. an expansive space, an effortless noticing of whatever is taking place, appearing and disappearing. Thoughts come and go like waves. Thoughts, sensations, sounds, feelings. These are all the waves of life appearing in the vast ocean of the present moment. The present moment consciousness of who we are. And who and what we are is always this vast open space in which all waves are allowed to come and go. And whether we see this as being in the ocean or in the sky, it doesn't matter. Whatever works best for you are space. We are space. And in that space, we allow this rising and falling of thoughts and feelings and sensations and sound. We don't brace against it. If there's any bracing, just allow that wind from heaven, that breath, spirit, to enter and allow yourself to create space, if that's in your shoulders or in your stomach. Allow yourself to release, let go. Wholeness is a total embrace of every wave that appears in the present moment, an unconditional acceptance of every thought and emotion. This acceptance is not a passive surrender, but a fearless encounter with reality, from which all creative, intelligent, and loving action naturally flows. We don't have to try to allow this moment, for this moment is already allowed to be exactly as it is. We don't even have to accept this moment, for this moment has already been accepted. Acceptance is not something that we do. It's what we are. It's an act of unconditional love. To be with someone without trying to change them or control them or fix their experience in any way. To be, to listen, without playing any role of knowing best. John Roger tells us that acceptance does not imply belief. Acceptance implies acknowledgement of what's going on. It does not state true or false. It only acknowledges. This is Nisargadatta Maharaj again. Wisdom says, I am nothing. Love says, I am everything. Between the two, my life flows. Can you just be still and do absolutely nothing? The Trappist monk Thomas Merton said that there are times when, in order to keep ourselves in existence at all, we simply have to sit back for a while and do nothing. And for a person who has let themselves be drawn completely out of themselves by their activity, nothing is more difficult than to sit still and rest, doing nothing at all. The very act of resting is the hardest and most courageous act they can perform. And Thomas Merton wrote that probably about 50 years ago, before the internet and everything that we have these days. And even then, he said, for a person who has let themselves be drawn completely out of themselves by their activity, nothing is more difficult than to sit still and rest, doing nothing at all. The very act of resting is the hardest and most courageous act they can perform. So don't underestimate what you're doing here. It seems like it's very simple, but for some of you it's an act of courage to put aside this time and to say, I'm just going to be with myself in this energy field and let go. I'm going to allow, as Kaye said, that the ocean merge with the drop. John Rogers says it this way: if I could say to you one thing and you would do it, I would have you just say this to yourself: be still and know that I am God. And someone put that into a 6-line prayer. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know. Be still. Be. There's a quote here from someone called R. Arnold, who says, so if you are too tired to speak, sit next to me, because I too am fluent in silence. What a phrase that is. I am fluent in silence. Unless we get too serious, let's keep in mind John Rogers' words, so simple yet something we can apply every moment of our lives, where he says, do everything with your attention on getting a smile on your face and love in your eyes. So as we sit in stillness, in this vast oceanic space, do everything with your attention on getting a smile on your face and love in your eyes. As you begin to return, see if you can maintain that stillness. The stillness doesn't have any rigidity to it. It's a quality in your consciousness, quality of non-disturbance, of full acceptance. And yet it also has a dynamism to it, but there's nothing frenetic, nothing agitated, nothing disturbed. A quiet strength, a fullness. When you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers and toes and take a deeper breath and open your eyes. And come back into the room with an appreciation for yourself. Perhaps that maintaining that love in your eyes as you open your eyes. Having that little smile on your face that you can take through the rest of the week. So thank you. And huge thank you to Stella and to Paul Wilcox and to Jake for all the technical support here, and to Maria Jose Marañón for her expert translation. She was letting me know yesterday actually that she actually can translate into from Italian as well. I didn't know that she knew Italian. She translates from Portuguese and Spanish and English and now Italian. My goodness, a woman of many talents. Really appreciate her. And thank you all for being here. God bless you all, and thank you. And we'll see you next time.